welcome to another episode of our leadership video series, where we feature leaders shaping the future of people, culture, and business. Today's guest is Destinee Alderete, VP of People and Operations at TensorIoT Inc. Destinee has led remarkable organizational growth while maintaining an impressive retention rate, built a strong relationship pipeline, and developed people-first programs that fuel both culture and performance. We'll dive into how she connects HR strategy with operational excellence, her philosophy on developing future leaders, and how compassion can be a powerful force in driving business success. Let's watch it. You grew the company headcount significantly while maintaining a very high employee retention rate. What were the key culture pillars or people-focused programs you implemented to enable such rapid growth without losing your top talent?
So when I joined TensorIoT, we were about 10 people. I think I was the 10th employee, a really small startup, scrappy team. And over the first 2 years, we scaled pretty efficiently to more than 150 employees across multiple countries. At one point in time, we had offices in the UK, India, Japan, and then as well as the US with potential expansion in other demographics. Our goal was to grow fast without losing our culture. So, what really worked for us initially before COVID was maintaining a hybrid office schedule. Obviously, once COVID hit, the world shifted in entirety. What worked best for us was building a structure that supported people, and then we were able to maintain that culture even post COVID. We built clear career paths, consistent communication, and then just a real emphasis on, I think, trust within our employee group, focusing on big time feedback loops, leadership visibility, and recognition. And then at the end of the day, I think people stay where they feel seen and valued, and that's how we were able to keep our retention high while still scaling aggressively.
As a strategic HR and business leader, you're tasked with optimizing operations. Can you share an example of a specific business challenge like utilization or efficiency, where you used HR strategy or data to inform an operational solution and what the most impactful outcome was?
I think the one challenge that comes with hyper growth is efficiency. And then also in the tech industry, for a lot of developers, is like peer and code review. So making sure that we're using our talent and resources wisely was a main challenge. At one point, our utilization was kind of uneven. Our hiring was not keeping up with project needs at the time. So I worked with our previous senior recruiter to build a headcount planning model alongside our CTO that helped pull in data from all aspects of the organization to forecast the proper workload and optimization of staffing. We implemented utilizing a tempo project allocation planning in our Jira board that helps continuously keep us at an 85% utilization rate within our technical teams. So we were able to redeploy internal talent to different projects instead of hiring externally, which in some cases, which saved us a lot cost wise and then improved our utilization, I think about 25% at that time. The real win was more so that people got new growth opportunities internally. Some people got to work on projects that they had not previously been able to touch. But that's really how HR and business strategy is best aligned, I think, within organizations, especially startups.
You mentored several direct reports, promoting 3 people to senior roles, and built a leadership pipeline framework. What is your core philosophy when it comes to developing future leaders, and what is one non-obvious skills you focus on cultivating in those you mentor?
My personal philosophy on mentorship and leadership is lead from where you are. So titles don't make leaders. I think accountability and influence do. I'm pretty big on giving people who directly report to me ownership early, and let them test ideas. Like, so I'm there to support my team, and for feedback coaching along the way. But once I think, I feel that you know what you're talking about. I always like to give them the initial push and say, why don't you try it first and then come back to me and we'll review it together because I think it's really always important to emphasize self awareness. And then when a leader understands their impact and how they can help their employees grow, it's so much different than just pushing them to meet a goal or a deadline. How you communicate, how you react, and how you make others feel, everything else improves. So self-aware leaders really create trust, which I think builds long-term strong teams. And that's one of the things that I'm personally the most proud of at my time at TensorIoT and in previous roles is my ability to have mentored and helped people grow in their careers. One of my direct reports has even told me, like, I helped them go down a career path that they never even envisioned for themselves, but they completely love. So, as a leader, that's like the best feedback that you can get, I think.
You mentioned that communication, stories, and compassion are key to bridging people together. How does compassion translate into effective business leadership in a high growth environment, and how do you balance it with necessity of making difficult decisions?
Especially in the HR and people operations fields, you're going to have to make a lot of tough decisions and you have to do that with compassion. Compassion in leadership is not about avoiding tough calls, it's about how you're able to deliver that message. In a high growth environment, things move very fast. Not every decision is easy, but when you lead with transparency and empathy, people can accept hard news because they know that is coming from a place of respect. And I have always believed that compassion and accountability can coexist in a transparent work environment. You can deeply care about people and hold your team to a high bar or a high standard.
You speak about a holistic approach to leadership, integrating HR strategy, business operations, and employee experience. For an aspiring leader, how can they begin to adopt this integrated mindset, especially if their current role is siloed in one specific function?
I see HR as a connector between people, process, and profit. To lead effectively, you have to understand how all those pieces work together. I been lucky to be in a role where I oversee a lot of those all at the same time. So for me, it's linear. But for anyone in a siloed role, my advice is to get curious. Ask if you can sit in on a meeting that you've never been a part of. If you want to learn more about finance, or if you want to learn more about sales, ask your team or ask the management manager of that department. Hey, I'm just curious to learn more about this. Is it okay if I sit on an internal meeting with you guys? Maybe ask your operations leader what metrics matter most to them, or learn how your company is generating and scaling revenue. When you kind of understand the bigger picture, your decisions, whether or not that's in HR, operations, leadership, sales, marketing, become more strategic and more impactful. And then also, I am a huge believer in continuous education, and what that's kind of what led me to get my PHR certification. I was really curious about what more I could do for my organization, and like what skill set that certification would bring. Not just to me, but to the organization. So, curiosity and continuous education are huge there, at least in my opinion.